Let's jump into our next question from Alex. And they're looking for some direction and guidance on conceptual frameworks. They asked, what is a conceptual framework and how do I design one for my study? Matthew, what can you tell us about conceptual frameworks? What's the down low, if you could?
Yeah, so conceptual frameworks can be a real barrier for people because it's really a heavily metacognitive process. It's very abstract and you've got to really work through it. So let's break it down. Your conceptual framework outlines the key theories and concepts that feed into your dissertation. So think about it like almost a roadmap for the reader. What does your reader need to understand about the various theories, the various concepts, the various prior research into your concept in order to understand your study, your gap, and ultimately why that matters at the end? So, what you're going to do as you're reviewing the literature, you're going to be identifying all of those key theories, all of those key concepts. And I just honestly tell people to keep kind of almost like a post it note off to the side where we're just jotting down like self efficacy theory and then check, I saw it again, check, I saw it again, check, I saw it again. And you start to get the vibe of where those key important theories are. And then you're going to kind of map them together. So open up whatever your preferred software is. I like to do this in PowerPoint or in Google Slides, something like that, and make a flow chart. Put all of those pieces into little boxes, draw little arrows that connect all of it together. So you can really visualize, how does this theory connect to this theory? How do they feed into this process so that your reader really understands where you're going and, more importantly, why your work matters.
Just to dig in a little bit deeper, what is the kind of information that we want to be presenting in that conceptual framework? And why is it necessary to include one in a dissertation anyway?
Yeah, so this is another one where I'm going to start by saying, check your dissertation handbook before you start writing. Because again, every university has a different expectation for what that conceptual framework looks like. I have had clients whose conceptual framework is limited by their university to one theory. I've had universities where they're limited to someone else's framework. You can't create your own, you have to find one and deploy it. So that is sort of step one. We need to figure out, what does our university want us to achieve and to do? If your university says, write a conceptual framework and nothing else, where are we going to go from there? So that's where we go back to the key theories, the key frameworks from our literature review, the stuff that we're seeing over and over and over again that's resonating with our project. That's also where we're going to go back to a visualization. Sometimes they require a map and sometimes they don't. I always think it's good to map, even if it's not explicitly required, because it does help you take this abstract thing and put it on paper in a meaningful way. And once you map it out, I think it's easier to write about it. The other key piece to your conceptual framework is that when you're writing, we're not just listing the frameworks. We're not just saying, here's this theory and what it means, here's this theory and what it means. We're synthesizing them together. You are creating a new theory that's guiding your work. And it's rooted in those existing theories. So you have to blend all of that together in your writing. The last thing I'll mention here, citations. A lot of people will say Bandura's self-efficacy theory, and then there won't be another citation in the whole paragraph. This is a place for maximum citation density. We want to see that you have done the reading, that you've put the thought in, and you've synthesized this together in a methodical and strong way.